My apologies. And we're recording now.
I'll say something,
Okay.
or do you have to repeat that?
Just announce that this is open public comment.
I have a
Alright,
public
so
comment.
element, yes, or members of the board. Do you have a comment, Andrea?
I listened in on the hearing for the transportation board for the MBTA project. I don't know if anyone else did. But it was very interesting. They deferred to take a vote on it because it was, I'm sure it's all well planned and thought out, and it seems like the MBTA is working closely with other entities, town entities, but their presentation came across as a little misleading. So the chair of the transportation board requested that they come back and before they take a vote and provide more information. For example, the drawings they showed were so small you couldn't really tell what was going on. But I think what Steve mentioned previously was these long ramps extending from one block to the next isn't really happening. There's only 2 ramps and they return. They're a U-turn type ramp. The only issue I had was that I asked if there was a transportation study, because it appeared from the plans that in some intersections or some parts of Beacon Street, it was reduced to 1 lane. So I had asked if there was a transportation study. They said yes, but then when I emailed to ask for it, I got a little bit of a, not a direct answer, so. we'll
Yeah,
see.
I didn't
I mean,
attend,
there were
but I am really concerned about the way this is going. I had a housing advisory board meeting that went from 5:30 to 7:30 that night. I just couldn't deal with another meeting starting at 7:30. But my understanding is that although they talk a lot about these changes being made to make the T, that line, fully accessible, what it's really fundamentally about is dealing with their plans to have longer trains and fewer stops, combining stops with longer trains that with run less frequently, that they will claim will improve service and make the line move more quickly. But there is still this concern about the huge number of parking spaces and mature trees that'll be lost, and it's unclear, I think, still whether their plans will make it difficult to implement the
bridle
bridle
path.
path.
Right, that was the other question I asked, and the woman in charge of planning for the bridle path expressed her concerns, but did say that she is working with the MBTA on that. So I think in the end it'll all be okay. It's just the fact that they were rushing to get a vote, and I think there needs to be some more work done. So I'm glad the transportation chair requested more information.
I have, thanks. I just have one other quick thing for Nicole. Your note about this meeting said you should also check Polly's email about other meetings in August. And I didn't get a chance to do that. So could you just update us on what other meetings are planned this month?
Yes, we have a sign meeting next Wednesday, and we have a warrant article meeting the 20th, which is also, I believe, a Wednesday, and that's a morning meeting. And then let me just double check, make sure there's no more 40A cases. So then we do have also one planned for the 21st, but I'm not sure if that will happen or not. Polly's back on Monday, so she should be able to let you all know that.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Shall we take our first item then on the agenda?
Yes, Mark is just joining now. I'm just letting him join, and I will introduce the first case on tonight's agenda. It's 21 Easton Street. This is a 3-family home in North Brookline, close to Beacon Street, and they're proposing to convert a 3-family dwelling to a 4-family by adding a basement space dwelling unit. And they will be subject to the affordable housing requirements for 4 more units. And Bob Allen's here to present on behalf of the petitioner.
Great. Thank you. For the record, Robert Allen, 300 Washington Street in Brookline Village here, representing the owner of 10 Houston Street. I have Nalin Mystery here, who is the architect. This is just a simple, straight conversion, trying to put a unit down in the basement. So, Nalin, I think Ashley Duval is going to run the screen. Nicole?
Okay.
So with that, I'll turn it over to Nalin.
Hello.
Nalin, yeah, just introduce yourself.
Yeah, this is Nalin Mystery and from Mystery Associates. So I'm going to briefly go over the plans. We had presented to you previously, dated 7/9/25 of my stamps. So primarily, I think the main plan we have, we can discuss is go to plan A3. If you can go there quickly, then I briefly describe you what is the purpose, what's the function which we try to achieve. The existing plan, which we have existing basement, it's all wide open, has a couple of walls and in the area that will be reworked, and then there is a existing laundry room and then water heater space right here, which we will be closing into the new plan. The current proposal is to convert this open space into the 3 bedrooms, which is the one here, the second one, and the third one, with the living room and the kitchen, and this closed out of the existing laundry room and the boiler room. Also, in order to, we are enlarging this window over here, and that will bring some more light to the living area, as well as
Which window, please? Which window is being enlarged?
this window right there.
That
Yeah,
one.
that's one, and that will also will act as an egress to the well. The section shows onto the right section AA, which indicates that it's a 5-foot tall window. It's only 3'3" high from the floor, and there's be well to bring the in an exit situation. It will bring them out of here into the safe location. The maximum, the travel distance any tenant will have is the about, I think, 77 or 72 feet from the furthest corner. So we have 2 egresses at that point. The one is the main egress coming out. Everybody will be using on a normal situation. They will be coming at this entrance, and
Well,
the window will be only utilized at the time of egress.
Nicole,
not leaking.
Ashley, could you show us where the main entrance is, please, on this plan? There.
Yeah, I was going to ask about that because the impact statement says the front entrance will remain the main entrance, but there is no way to get into this unit from the front entry. Is that correct? It really will be this entry from the rear. Is that right?
Yeah. So, yeah, so there is no connection to if I understood you right, they're talking about connection to the main floor up above.
Right.
There's a second stair going up here, which will bring to the upstairs entrance also. So they could be coming from the top entrance and then coming down here.
Well, you
Yes.
can't get to that stair from the front entrance of the building.
Right. So this stair will be closed for the apartment, but they will be able to come to the main area downstairs in the basement, and then they enter into their apartment. Okay.
Okay. Your impact statement is incorrect, though. It does say that the primary egress will remain the existing front entrance, so that should be corrected.
Well,
Egress,
it's correct for the other apartments, that's all.
Oh, true, for the other apartments, yes.
We can make that clarification.
Yeah.
Thanks, Steve.
I have one other question. On this little area here, this may just be a little drawing thing, but it looks like there's a section of wall that's missing. Can you see that little area that I've circled? It almost looks like there's an intent to, it almost looks like there's an access between the kitchen and the laundry room here, but that's just a drawing issue. That should be a wall there and a, another wall here and a door. Is that right?
This door is intend to be closed. There is no access to the boiler room up into
Yeah,
the.
you have to go out through the back common area. Right.
Correct.
That's right.
All right.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Just
Right.
correct.
That should be extended to close out. I'm sorry,
Alright.
that line should have been
Okay.
closed.
Clean that
Yes.
up.
I just turned my phone off. Sorry.
I got a question.
Okay. Sorry, go ahead, sir.
Mark, please.
Yeah, is there a wall alongside of the stair coming in from the back? There,
This
that a-
stair,
is-
but
yeah,
this,
is that a full height wall?
no, this is from the main entrance is the existing wall there at that point. This
Is it a full
current
height
wall.
wall? Does it go up to the ceiling?
I think it's only half wall at this point, okay? Because this is the kind of common space for every tenant to use it. They come from upstairs.
I understand that, but what was the proposed? Is it proposed to be a wall up to the ceiling there?
Yeah, I think it's more is a railing more than anything else. It's not a wall there, so.
Yeah, okay. I just gonna point out, if it is a wall, you're not gonna get furniture in this apartment through that door and around that corner because the heating, hot water and laundry wall is right in front of the stair. I can't tell you how many times you try and get a couch or a big chair or a piece of furniture in and around the corner like that with a full height wall next to the stair. Doesn't
think it's a-
really work. Doesn't really
it's a-
work too well.
So
It's a good point, and
I think
that's why I'm saying it's only the railing, so
Yeah,
the
if-
furniture can be lifted above that. That's
I
right.
would think that that would be a good idea not to have a wall there. You could have a, a railing height wall, like you said, but not a full height.
Correct. On the no
Okay, the
wall.
other- I have a question in terms of, you have that in the center of the space, you have a set of stairs that comes down, and that's for the other residents in the apartment building to use the laundry room, correct?
That stair will connect it to the
Yeah,
upper.
I understand. I'm repeating what you said. Now, if you're a tenant in this new proposed basement living space, you're going to come in the main entrance at the rear. Are you then in a common area that's also open to other tenants who might go into the laundry room?
Yes,
Right,
Blair.
right.
So if you see the square hatches, that's marking the common
Yeah.
areas.
Mhm.
I don't know if that's helpful. And then these diagonal lines
No,
are
it is.
showing the unit.
So, I see. So really, the entrance into this apartment itself is next to the closet, correct?
Right.
Correct.
That
So
is the
you
private.
would come
yeah.
into a
At the bottom of the
you would
stairs.
come in the door, right? All right.
That's a private entrance for them, right there. There is no public, other tenant cannot,
Okay,
other tenant has no access to that.
So the living room has no windows, correct? The kitchen has no windows. I
Well, there's
assume
that
there's gonna be
light
some
well.
kind of ventilation system? Where's the
There's a
living
light
room?
well
have a
in the
light well?
back.
Oh, I
Comes
see.
into the living
Oh,
room.
I see. And that's the second egress.
Yeah.
How high are the windows that are at the front of the building? Above grade?
The front of the buildings they are at about, I would say, exact dimension wise, I think it's around 5 feet. Okay,
You have a picture of the building, Ash?
they are below.
You should have an elevation that's hopefully accurate of the front of the building.
the front elevation, which indicates the shows the window heights,
Where-
but it's not labeled there. It's,
No, can we add the front? That's the rear.
yeah, the front elevation right there. If
That's not a drawing.
correct. So
There's no front elevation drawing. We just included these photos here.
I have a drawings also.
Uh,
That's a
I don't know what
drawing
the other
number.
board members think about this, but I just think that I don't have any objection in principle against this. I just think the drawings need to be
Yeah, the
complete.
drawing is on A4. It shows the elevations, the windows on there.
That's the rear.
Elevation on the front.
The
You had
rear,
the rear.
okay.
I was looking at the front.
No. Oh, the front elevation is not drawn. Yes, you are correct.
Well, I would agree with Blair. We need to see a drawing of the front. And, you know, does the front really need to have an areaway as well so that windows can be enlarged and deepened to let more light into? That's a bedroom, right? Maybe it doesn't need, and it's got what, 3 windows? Maybe it doesn't need a lot of light.
No, it needs an egress though, and there's legal requirements for how low those windows
True
max,
point.
yeah, off the floor. So that's, if the areaway is new and the windows are not,
Well, there is no areaway. It's just noted as landscape. So we need a section, just like you have through the rear where you show the light well. We need a section through the front showing that there is a legal means of egress from those bedrooms.
On the,
I would like to get any public comment on this. I think that the board, as you know, is in favor of additional housing in town, but I think these drawings are so far, in my opinion, aren't complete. Do we have members of the public that would like to comment?
No, we do not.
All right, so Ashley, Bob Allen, I guess our comments to you would be that, you know, I can certainly support this. I think the drawings need to be completed. I think the front elevation would be important to have, and I think Linda brought up an important issue about the height of the windows and whether a egress needs to be provided for those front bedrooms. So
Oh, they
we'd
have
like
to. Yeah.
Okay, so
there's no
we'd
doubt.
like to get these drawings improved so that we could actually take a vote and recommend the ZBA's approval on this.
Okay. We'll work with Nicole on getting a new date. Come back.
All right. All right. I mean, does anyone on the board, Mark or Andrea, object to having a basement unit here? Because it looks like they were going short on the amount of money going into design, I guess pending whether we'd be willing to accept this. Anybody, any board?
It's more of an architectural issue, like a lot of the questions we're asking. But in terms of the ceiling height, is there going to be any HVAC system that would be lowering the ceiling, or what we're seeing in that section is this actual ceiling height?
I think that's another good question. So we'd like to understand the ceiling heights, something about how, if there's any ventilation issues that need to be dealt with, that should also be expressed in the drawings.
Right. And it
So
looks like
I'm going to make,
looks like the upper units are serviced by heat pumps. There are 3 of them out back. Is this unit also going to be serviced by, you know, an all-electric heat pump? And if so, how's that air going to be distributed?
Okay, we'll take a look and come back to you.
okay, so I'm going to make a motion to continue this case. Do we need to vote on that, Nicole, or is it sufficient for me just to continue
I
it?
would just vote on it.
Okay,
All right, I second it. I second the motion.
okay. In favor of continuing this case, Mark?
I don't think we need to vote on the continuance. As long as
Okay.
the proponent.
I agree with it. It's fine.
Okay, very good. Thanks. We'll look forward to seeing the new plans. Thank you very
Thank you.
much. Next
Thank
case,
you.
please.
Yeah, so the next case this evening is 19 Beacon Street. This is another conversion. This is an existing 3-story attached office building near the intersection of Beacon Street and Marion Street in the Coolidge Corner Design District G 1.75 zone. This is one of 6 row buildings in a mix of residential and office. And I believe this was originally a residential building converted to office, and now it's going back to residential. And they would also be subject to the affordable housing payment. And Bob is the petitioner on this one as well.
Yeah, thanks, Nicole. Again, for the record, Bob Allen, 300 Washington Street in Brookline Village, here representing the owner of 1419 Beacon Street. Matt Ramey is the representative, and we have Gary Hendren as the architect on this. And you might remember this building. It came before you a while ago looking for a variance from the prior owner to do some like 18 units or something. And the board had some issues with the front entrance right way, and the owner didn't want to go through the long, rigorous process of dealing with Brookline zoning. So he sold the building, and now we have somebody coming in and building 4 units there. So with that, I'll turn it over to Gary Hendren.
I don't see Gary on our,
Oh, I'm
Can you-
here somewhere.
oh,
Yeah.
sorry.
Hey, Gary.
Hi, Nicole.
Hello.
Okay. And
Um,
we have
I-
an updated presentation. Can we
Yeah.
change over to Rajvi to
Let me
Yeah.
control the
make-
slides?
I cannot share the screen as of now.
I just made you the co-host. Apologies.
Thank you so much.
Just introduce yourself and your team, Gary.
Okay. Good evening, board members. I'm Gary Hendren, Hendren Associates. Been in front of you many times, and Rajvi is one of my employees who's technically much better than I am at these sorts of things. So I'm having her control the presentation for the exhibits. So 1419 Beacon Street is the last building at the end of this series of townhouses or row houses. As you can see, it's we're planning to essentially restore this building in terms of keeping all the architectural detailing that you see in terms of the roof line. We're going to be replacing windows that to again match the existing windows, but be compliant with energy requirements of today. And we're essentially not altering the front facade or the side facade, which goes into a vacant lot. We will have some minor revisions on the rear facade, which I'll get into later. It's mostly to remove some old metal emergency fire escapes. And of course, we're introducing some garage spaces that are inside the building, which we'll explain with our floor plans. I think the important thing to note on this particular building is there's not a lot of, let's say, front setback. There's really not the ability to have retail on this ground floor. We don't have a setback for a courtyard or some nice staircases going down to the lower level, which is done in other places along the street. So it's kind of a unique setup that we have for this particular building at the end because of the slope of the street and the topography that's happening here. Next slide, please. Again, just a quick aerial showing you that it is right at the where did it go? Right at the end of on Beacon Street and at the end of the 6-row buildings. And the other thing to note here is that the vehicular access for all these buildings, there's about, actually I counted 12 of them, go down this little alleyway that comes out of the rear. I'll have Bob go through the zoning chart after we do the presentation. Next slide, please. So this is our existing conditions survey. As you can see, coming off Marion Street, up this access alleyway. Our property line is actually in the center line of the common easement access. Like I said, we're not altering the footprint of the building. You can see we have a few issues with where the building is right on the property line on the left side. And of course, it's on a party wall on the right side. Next slide. Rajvi, next slide.
Yeah, it's on the next slide.
Yeah. Okay.
Mhm.
So what we have here is, again, just some photographs of the existing conditions. If you come in from Marion Street into the rear, there's currently a grade change between, of course, the Beacon Street side and the Marion Street side. It's approximately 6 feet vertical grade change. We drew in some cars where people are sort of randomly parking back there today. And we have, again, this triangular piece of land in the back where the metal emergency egress staircases come down. And then several cars, of course, come through here to access down the street. We'll have some other photos of that. Next slide, please. What we are proposing is that when we develop this into 4 units, that we actually take a portion of the basement to create 3 garage spaces. And then outside of the building, where there's just some random parking, we wanted to create 2 additional parking spaces. So we would have a total of 5 cars for the 4 units. We're also proposing that since it's going back to residential, you'll see that all the other residential buildings have trash collection or trash receptacles at the rear of the building, and everybody apparently rolls them out to Marion for municipal pickup. So we have a little enclosure, and those 8 little boxes there indicate the trash and the recycling receptacles for 4 different units. Next slide, please. So as part of the program, we're also, as we're developing this into residential units, as you come into the building, you'll go down to the first unit. The second unit is, of course, about a half a level up from the sidewalk. And then there's 2 private elevators that service units 3 and 4. And those elevators do go all the way to the roof to have private roof decks. Next slide, please. On the left, of course, you're seeing the existing conditions, which we're converting over on the right. We have of course, the 3 cars of garage parking for 3 of the units, little storage bins for people. And then you can see we're putting in 2 residential elevators, which open into the unit. If you come in from the street, you would come down the stair and go into the lower level unit, which does have, let's say, code compliant windowsill heights into the spaces. And on the side, there's this setback currently that exists, so we can have an egress window into this one little bedroom. Next slide, please. As you go up, the units are basically flow-through units, so they're actually quite large from Brookline standards. You can see there, I think that says 1863, and so there are 3 bedrooms, private bathrooms, and a nice open living, dining, kitchen arrangement. Next slide, please. Kind of repeats as we go up. As you get there, the units, again, the elevators open into the individual units at 3 and 4. Next slide. And then, like I said, we'll have private roof decks for unit 3 and unit 4. And then we have plenty of room for condensing units at the rear side of the building. And we also have, we are restricting so that we have open spaces, and we're doing things to be solar ready So there's plenty of room if they want to add solar panels or I found these really cool little mini wind turbines. And there's a fair amount of wind in Brookline. So there's alternative ways to produce energy for this building. Next slide.
I have a question, but could you go back to the roof deck? I just wanted to understand.
Mhm.
One thing. Okay. So you have a stair that goes up to the roof deck as well, correct?
An egress stair, yes.
Yeah, okay. So both those elevators open to the right, and the private
Mhm.
gardens are above and to the left.
Yes.
So you haven't really
Be-
finished the design in terms of what's paved, what's a roof membrane, and so forth. That's
Well,
still to be determined.
that line and the slightly yellow color is
Yeah.
the Unit 3 deck, which is, I can't read
Right.
it from here, 350 square feet.
Yes.
So we are going to be defining and putting, little privacy railings and things like that,
Right.
but we haven't actually detailed all the elements. That is correct.
I see.
Mhm.
Right. Okay.
While we're on this drawing, the area around the perimeter that's gridded, is that intended to be a walking surface or
No,
is that just roof membrane?
that's just roof membrane. I have this sort of habit that I follow where I don't run the deck out to the parapet wall. And I call it the child safety zone. And so if you're out there with, 4 and 5-year-olds and everybody's talking and yucking it up and not paying attention, often the kids try to climb the railing. And then they're not right at the edge of the building, so they don't fall onto the sidewalk below. And it's just something that I do on every roof deck that I put up.
Just a
I
related
just-
question there's like an angled tiled parapet around the roof. Do you have a section that shows how high that is relative to the roof plane, roof deck?
I don't have a drawing section in this set. It's approximately 18 inches.
That's all?
But the railing back here at the edge of the deck is 3'6", is 42 inches.
Yes.
It'd be useful to see a section through the roof so that, get a
Mhm.
sense of the stability of the stuff on the roof.
Sure. But
Gary,
yeah,
I also think that the size of these roof decks is really way larger than I think a typical family would need for socializing outdoors. Be nice to have, some type of green roof or planters. I think planters have an issue of weight. The green
Right.
roofs generally don't. It would be nice to have a little something that was green up there. And I'm 400 and 300 square feet. That's gigantic. I think something a little more modest would be perfectly usable. I don't know if you're thinking about any kind of or whether you could even put any kind of a pergola over it without exceeding zoning. But yeah, but it would be nice to have, again, some kind of green roof. But
I totally agree.
take that
And
into
if
consideration.
you look at 1618, which we just finished last year, and again on that roof deck, yeah, there are definite planters, and we have to, like you say, restrict the size of the plantings for the weight, because again, we're not gutting the building and restructuring the roof. But yeah, I totally agree. And in the, let's say, final phase of the design, there will be planters and something, again, to dress it up.
Good.
And so we do plan to do that. Next slide, please. And again, we're not altering the front facade or the single side facade that we have, other than, again, like I said, restoring things and replacing windows in the exact same style. On the rear, as you can see, we're taking off the fire escapes because now we have 2 internal stairs. We don't need that fire escape. And the big change is the 3 garage doors, which is on the rear and in the alley. So that's really the extent of the, oh, excuse me, and where the doors used to come out onto the fire escape. Of course, we're putting balconies across the rear.
And
But really
How,
the
how
only,
wide are,
go
how
ahead,
wide are the balconies? What is the
6
depth of the balcony?
6 feet.
So they're 6 feet, parallel with the building, and
Mhm.
how far perpendicular are the balconies?
No, they're 6 feet from the building. If you go back to the site plan, we have, our property line is way out in the center where that triangle was. Just, yeah, quickly, right there. See, we have plenty of space. It's on that center bay.
No, I understand that.
Yeah.
So they're the
They're
balconies
roughly
are 6x4, 6x5,
no,
what are
6
they?
by 10.
6 by
Excuse me.
10.
They're 6 feet
There's
perpendicular to the building.
6 feet perpendicular to the building, and they're about the width of a building of one garage door. That's a single garage door, which is about 10 feet wide.
But they're off a bedroom, right? They're not off a living.
Yes,
They're more
they're
like
off a bedroom.
space balcony.
is
Right.
there no
Correct.
elevator overrun or, I mean, the elevator goes up?
These are residential. These are not commercial elevators. So no, you don't have well, of course, they do go up
I thought they
onto
went
the
up to
roof.
deck.
Yeah, they go all the way to the roof. So actually, you're right. They should have been highlighted on this elevation. They're in the center of the building, but they should have still been at least silhouetted in this drawing. But they're in the center. You'll never see them from the street or from the back. You just can't get back far enough.
Gary, can you put up one of the plans again?
Sure.
Since you mentioned gutting the building, when I look at the rabbit warren in the existing office layout
Yes.
versus your kind of open plan, I cannot figure out what the existing or proposed structural system of this building might be, and I'm mindful of the collapse of the building on Griffin Street right around the corner from me, where they were opening up the old plans and probably had not done anything to temporarily support the roof.
Well,
What are you doing with respect to restructuring this building? Because it's vastly different than what it was. And then, by the way, I think it's a very interesting plan with this angled bay, kind of a unique opportunity with this angled bay off to the side and the ability to get some parking in from the rear. So I like this plan. I just would hate to see another,
believe me, we would all hate to see a recurrence of what did happen. The
I know that wasn't your project.
Well, it was my project, but
Was that
but
yours?
there was 50 Vernon.
Sorry, I didn't think.
What did occur there was unfortunately the let's say the shoring plan was not followed horizontally. It was followed vertically. And then of course we had a big snowstorm and then a rainstorm, but there was no horizontal tie where they put in the new elevator shaft.
Right, I remember, like I said, I live right around the corner. I could see.
Yeah.
I didn't hear this happen, even though it was like 200 feet from me. When I went out to look at it, I'm looking at this new elevator shaft, and there's like nothing on the side of the elevator shaft that looked like it might have been installed to support floor joists. And I'm thinking, how could this have happened? I'm sorry, I didn't think I didn't remember that it was your project, but since it was, that makes
It
the
was.
question even more pertinent.
Believe me, that won't be the same contractor. And yes, and so, and in particular, we're also doing 79 Park, where we've again put in new steel beams, put in tiebacks, really secured the facade. And of course, this is all with a new contractor who is competent, and we're watching, let's say, much more closely. The shoring that was put up at 50 had been there for about 3 weeks before that collapse. So let's say we're being much more careful. In this situation, we will be coming in, and obviously we've been producing a lot more shoring plans and inspections and field reports. So we are being much more careful about how we're doing things. But yes, in this situation, we will be introducing steel within the structure so that we can get these nice big open rooms. And it's something that we have done on other similar projects successfully. As you know, I've done many projects in Brookline and only one's fallen down. And
My structural engineer in architecture school,
yeah,
very well known, had a major structural engineering practice. He said the motto of his firm was, "We stand by our work, not under it." But I'm looking at this
yeah,
big living dining area, kitchen area in
yes,
front of these units, and I can't quite read. Is it like over 30 feet by, it's a huge area and with no
yes,
visible structure, so, structural support.
yeah.
I assume you're going to use the elevator shafts as one source.
Uh,
I mean, even
well,
though the residential elevators, so maybe they don't need a masonry shaft. But
right.
and I'm
Now, what we've been doing is again tracking through using essentially 3.5-inch steel tubes, bringing up new columns, and then putting in like W12 by 40s so that we can get the spans that we want. And then we make moment frame connections. So it's, let's say it is a more expensive way to bring those supports up and to make sure that they work. And then of course, obviously, because of the extent of the renovation, we'll be doing again the seismic analysis and making sure everything that's copacetic here. Part of the work in the basement, of course, is we also will be expanding those footings down there. But since we're gutting it out and doing everything, we'll have opportunity to restructure the center of the building all the way through the building.
Can I ask who your structural engineer is?
RSE Engineering. I don't know
Okay.
if you know them.
Okay, but okay,
No, they're a big company.
I'm working with them.
all right, good.
Yeah. So it will be, and I can't say 100% that like right next to where those elevator shafts are, you won't actually see a few extra columns coming up through there. And maybe that what's drawn as a 4-inch wall is going to become an 8-inch thick wall at that location, but that'll still give us plenty of open space. It won't really impact the use of
You
the
could-
floor.
You could certainly make those shafts heftier and support, and
Yes.
they go all the way top to bottom. I would have assumed that those would be a central supporting, structure.
Yes. Yeah. And the good news, we do have plenty of location for shear walls and things like that are track all the way through the building. So, but yeah, we're
Okay.
being super careful, mostly on site inspections these days, because it was a contractor issue, not a design issue, that left that wall unsupported horizontally, and it was only 12 inches thick. But think about a 12-inch thick wall going up 40 feet that's not supported horizontally.
Yes. Well, I don't want to hog the conversation, but just one other quick question. I see on the fourth floor plan, there's an L. I don't know whether a closet, I don't know whether that's linen or laundry, but
Yeah.
I do not see a location in the basement unit for a washer dryer unit. I don't know where they are
That's for
upstairs.
laundry.
That is the laundry. What about in the basement? I don't see a comparable location in that small 1-bedroom unit.
You read plans quickly.
Is that required under
I
zoning, Steve?
spent 40 years doing things like this, Gary.
We still talking zoning here? Or
Well,
no?
I thought you were a rookie, Steve.
Are we talking? Yes. Well, this is free architectural advice.
It seems like right next to the coat closet, I could squeeze a
That's
stack
I'm
washer
thinking,
dryer
is that
in
M for mechanical, or should it be L for, laundry?
for
Yeah.
laundry. Yeah. Yeah, because I can do a horizontal unit above the bathroom. So you're right. You're right, Steve. You got me.
Bob, I'm
Uh,
sorry. I would have been concerned about this in the context of 50 or whatever Vernon, since I
mhm.
see it every day, and I'd forgotten that Gary was the architect. But since
I shouldn't have
he
confessed.
was, it was fortuitous that I'm just concerned
Right.
about these things. So
Well,
I
you should
will
see
stop there.
all the new plans for 50 Vernon. And they're pretty robust. So
Good.
Other comments from members of the board? Andrea, Mark, Linda?
No,
No, I'm good with it.
Me too.
Yeah, I should say,
I am as well.
I think this is a really nice job and a very interesting building with that side bay. And I know you need a variance because you're in the commercial district, but I looked up and down that block, and the adjacent building at 1417 is 9 residential units. Yes, 1411 and 15 are offices. 1407 are condos, and 1405 may have some office space or commercial space on the first floor of the basement, and it's otherwise a residential building. So as Nicole said, this was originally a residential building, and I'm sure Bob can make a reasonable argument that it's reasonable to return it to residential use.
Yeah, Steve, we'll focus on the historic nature of this building, and as you've mentioned a few times, that the use variance does allow you to use preservation of historic districts, so, I mean, of a historic building. So we'll focus on that and the upgrades that we're gonna do, and hopefully the ZBA will be supportive of it, but we certainly appreciate your support.
Right. Also, I mean, all of Beacon Street is a historic district, so I guess you can use that argument whether the building itself is listed or not.
Yep,
Good.
All right.
thank you.
So Nicole, if there's no public comment, can you put up the
I've got public comment.
conditions?
Oh, we
I've got-
we did have a member
thank
of the
you.
public. Go ahead, Mr. Sullivan.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I'm actually the abutter at 1423, 1425 Beacon.
Mhm.
And we've reviewed the plan and what's being discussed, and we actually approve and support the design and the proposal next door.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming on.
Thank you. Appreciate the presentation.
Any other public comment, Nicole?
No, I believe that was it.
Okay.
Ready for
Thank
the
you, Mr.
conditions?
Sullivan. Yes, could you put the conditions, please? I'm going to make a motion to recommend approval of site plans by George C. Collins, dated July 15, 2025, and architectural plans by Gary Hendren Architects, dated April 15, 2025, with the following conditions. 1, prior to the issuance of a building permit, the applicant shall electronically submit final floor plans stamped and signed by a registered architect and final site plans stamped and signed by a registered engineer or land surveyor for review and approval by the Director of Regulatory Planning. Second, in accordance with section 4.08 of the zoning bylaw and the affordable housing guidelines, cash payment in lieu of affordable units options via the applicant shall, I'm going to not read all of these. I think, Bob, we've kind of gone through this on several different
Yep,
cases.
my client's aware of it. We'll
Okay.
stipulate to it.
Okay, very good. Then 3, prior to the issuance of a building permit, the applicant shall electronically submit a landscaping plan subject to review and approval of the Director for Regulatory Planning or designee. The counterbalancing amenities must be executed in accordance with the approved plan. I just want to make an aside on this. Gary, I think that the roof plan can be a part of that landscaping plan and any other planting that might be possible on the site.
absolutely, we'll do that.
4, prior to the issuance of a building permit, the applicant shall electronically submit to the tree warden for review and approval. Are there there are public shade trees out front, correct?
We're not
Nicole,
touching
or-
any of the trees out front. Our
I-
site
I
is
think
very,
we
very
may need to-
tiny. I don't think we have a tree on our site that's out front. There's street trees, but you'll see from the site plan, we actually have very little possible landscaping area, but we will be landscaping those 2 little pods that are out front.
Well, I think you may need to at least check in with the DPW about that, about street trees, because there has been some issues with construction where some types of tree protection measures need to be made. So I'm going to
Okay.
repeat number 4. Prior to the issuance of building permit, the applicant shall submit to the tree warden for review and approval any methods that may be required to protect the public shade trees
Mhm.
located within 50 feet of the construction site. 5, prior to the issuance of a building permit, the applicant shall electronically submit to the building commissioner for review and approval, A, the site plan, floor plans, and elevations displaying the approval stamp of the Director for Regulatory Planning, and B, evidence that the Board of Appeals decision has been obtained in the town clerk's office by the applicant or the representative and recorded to Registry of Deed. Do I have a second?
I'll
Second.
second.
That's Steve seconding it. All in favor, Stephen?
Yes.
Linda?
Aye.
Mark?
Aye.
Andrea?
Aye.
And the chair votes aye. Thank you, Gary, and good luck with this, and I hope everything comes together nicely.
Thank you all
Thank you so
very
much. Everybody have a great night.
Okay. The next case, please.
Yes, so our final case this evening is 1020 and 1022 to 1024 Beacon Street. This is a 2-story single-family retail building that's proposed to be, the lots are going to be merged and add 7 residential units above the existing retail. The current storefronts include the wine press and Japanese bakery and cafe. So Bob Allen is here with his architect to review the plans with you.
Great. Once again, thanks, Nicole. Bob Allen, 300 Washington Street in Brookline Village, here with Michael Scanlon, the architect, and Sean Galvin is the owner rep here. We remember this, right? It was just a short time ago, and
Yes, it
we were
was.
we were able to really address, I think, a lot of the concerns related to the front of the building and how it relates to other buildings along Beacon Street, the not having the angled roof, should it come out more to the sidewalk surface. We also addressed some of the issues to the rear. There was a neighbor in the back that had some rear, so we made some changes to the parking in the back. So I think you'll be very happy with this. The other thing we were able to do as part of moving this forward is we have the ability now to add a floor to this in the future. Should it work out, we've kind of designed it in such a way that if zoning ever does change, and it would be, I won't say relatively easy, but it will be possible to go up a story or even 2 if necessary. So I think we checked all the boxes that this board brought up, and with that, I'll turn it over to Michael.
Good evening. May I share my screen?
Yes, you should be able to now. Try it again.
Let me see here. So just as a reminder, this is this is where we were before. 2 views, one from the sidewalk right in front and the other from across the street. When the body of the second floor of apartments was pushed back, and there was a sloped roof on the building, and those were causes of concern. So I'm going to show you now how I have addressed those. Can you see that?
Yes.
Okay. So what's happened here is that the second story, which previously was 15 feet to the rear, has been brought forward. And the sloped roof has been lifted up so that it's now a flat roof. And that allows us to use the floor area that was previously given over to mezzanines under the sloped roof is now a full floor and can accommodate additional apartments. So we have more apartments. They're slightly smaller. This is the verbiage about all of this, which I assume you have and can read at your leisure. This is the view from the other side, looking, standing east of the building and looking west. We've also differentiated the retail floor from the upper floor, which was expressed as desirable. The size of the retail windows has been increased somewhat. They've been made taller. And in the next version, we're showing canopies over the forecourt space. I'm not quite sure what the correct term for the 20 feet of setback. It's not really a yard because it's not planted, but that can accommodate outdoor dining or whatever activities. Moving along, the new version of the facade, and this shows the dimensional relationships to the building next door, 1018. This is the same view with the canopies added. Here we have the lot plan, and I have reduced the parking here to increase the size of the delivery and loading area. The bakery isn't changing, so it still has its delivery door here, and the other retail tenant still will have its delivery door here. If we need a transformer, I'm showing it here adjacent to the telephone pole where the current transformer is. And you will notice that I have indented the building away from the property line and carried the indent back. This is addressing one of the awkward consequences of moving the apartment section to the front, is that the rear egress now, I could have just left it where it was and enclosed it, but that would have added a good deal to our FAR. So in order to avoid doing that, the rear egress will now come down to a very large second floor terrace and then an exterior stair carry down from the terrace to the parking area and the bicycle route, which is down there. In researching this, I have discovered that I need to offset this exterior staircase from the property line. So I'm currently involved in a redesign that changes this rectangular shape so that I can push that even further in. I'm balancing the interior needs with maintaining the FAR and making sure that all of the egress is very generous. These are very, very sketchy studies of how that's all working, and they're not even current, because I have discovered some constraints around the exterior stairway. And this shows a massing study of how this is a study overlaid on a photograph of the rear at St. Mary's Court to show how all of this steps back as it goes up. One of the things you may remember that I've talked about a great deal is not wanting to cast any shadows on St. Mary's Court. So by stepping this back to the south, we maintain that condition where both the terraces and the buildings across St. Mary's Court are not being shadowed in any way. So I hope you will find that I've responded to your concerns, and I'm available for questions.
Thank you very much. Members of the board, questions?
I have one question. If you could share the front facade, and he's moving in the right direction, and I'm very happy with pushing the upper floors forward. I think that's a positive move. I just had a question on the windows. Why the third floor windows look different? They're not operable, or they're also a different proportion? It was just a question.
Why they look different from
The second floor.
it's not intended that they be different.
Okay.
It's trying to prepare an elevation very quickly.
Okay.
It's not a matter of height limit.
I'm sorry?
Not a matter of height limit, right?
No, he would just.
No, they'll match. The second and third.
I think what you're responding to is that the mullions are not as broad as they are on the second floor. Is that the observation you're
Well,
making?
the height of the windows, and it looks like they're double hung with the picture window. And then on the third floor, it's not clear. And then my other comment is, I think last time we talked about a canopy over the entrance for the residential.
I'm sorry.
A canopy at the entry door to the residential portion of the building.
I'm sorry, I misinterpreted. I thought you were looking for canopies over the retail spaces.
But the canopy over the retail spaces are fine. I think Andrea's suggesting that we could have some kind of, maybe it's a black shorter awning or circular awning over the.
Or if the doors are recessed or inset.
Yeah.
Okay.
So just so that I'm clear, are you looking for a canopy, or are you looking for more emphasis?
I was just questioning or suggesting that there might be a need for some protection as you're carrying groceries and entering into the building. So however you decide to do it.
Okay.
I think it's something different from the two to the left and the right,
Yeah.
Michael.
I know that we approved a whole huge pergola down the street over that whole sort of Asian food mall. I don't know that I'm very appreciative of the changes that have been made. I certainly, bringing the building forward, adding a third story. I agree with Andrea's comment that the windows and Michael may just not have had the time to do this. The windows on the third floor, I assume it's a whole separate story of apartments, and presumably they'd have similar windows, whether those are double hung windows or whether those are fixed windows with a hopper or something, whatever.
The windows, so the second floor is taller than the third floor is. And on the second floor windows are taller, and I'm showing notionally a sort of a ventilator at the bottom of the windows.
Mm-hmm.
But we haven't spec'd the windows yet. We haven't identified our windows.
If if I understood correctly, there's a full floor on the third. You don't have that open studio space where it was like a mezzanine, right?
That is correct. It is now it's a full. Let me
well.
Here you can see.
Entrance is very elegant without the canopies, but
yeah, I'm not buying into these big canopies yet, even though we did approve something down the street.
Just listen, this board asked to differentiate the commercial space, and that's what it could look like. We could care less about the canopies. We just
I
put it there.
didn't-
It's a
I
good
didn't,
in the
I didn't show the
That-
canopies. Initially, I added them.
Because I asked you to. I asked him to.
I misinterpreted the comment, knowing that you had approved those big canopies down the street. I just thought, oh, that must be what they're looking for, but I think those are ugly, so I'll try to make something a little bit nicer. I don't,
We meant for the entrance to the residential building. That was,
it would be a pleasure for me to design a canopy for the entrance to the residential building. I'm more than happy to do that.
So Michael, I know that, can you put up the?
I'm saying that without consulting with my client.
Can you put up the plans for a minute? I know you said they're very preliminary. I couldn't make head or tails out of them. So I'm relying on your narrative that says you now are up to 10 units, plus you still have the accessible unit at the rear of the ground. So that's 11 units. Is that correct?
So I'm going to ask your patience because I'm in the situation where I have been juggling this thing so many times. Currently, I have on the first floor that accessible unit. Although I will say we have now made the decision, since we've got 3 floors, that we are going to have a proper elevator in the building.
Okay.
So all of the units potentially will be accessible.
Okay. That's good.
On the second floor, it's looking like I have 1, 2, 3, 4 studios and 2 one-bedrooms. So that makes 6. And then on the third floor, there will probably be 3. So that will be a total of 10.
Including the existing accessible unit. So it's a total of 10. Your narrative made it seem like there could be 10 units plus the accessible. So, okay.
I'm sorry, or I may have been too optimistic when I was writing that.
Yeah, it should be just 10.
Okay. So, again, I think this is, and am I correct in understanding you, Bob, that you said you've now made provision that you could add another 1 or possibly 2 floors to this?
Yeah, well, that's the way. That's the design that my client went for. Yeah, that's what he got out of the hearing last time as a way to kind of meet his goal of moving forward with the construction and address your concerns about, hey, we hate to miss an opportunity here. Well, he hates to miss an opportunity also. So he's going to design it in such a way that it could go up in the future.
Up to 4 or possibly 5 stories. That would be, yeah, it's a tough way to do it. I wish you could do it now. I think this constraint of an FAR of 1 in this area.
I get it, but you understand timing and everything else. So, yeah.
But, I'm all for this at this point, especially with that ability to come back again. But I definitely feel like we need to see these changes worked out a little bit more than they are on the plans that we were presented so far.
Well, if you allowed us to come to go to the ZBA and come back for final design review, that could work better for us. I just don't want to lose another ZBA date.
Well,
I have no objection myself to that. Andrea, Mark, Linda, are we good with this?
I'm just saying those second floor, the upper level plans that make absolutely no sense to me in their present condition.
and the rear elevations aren't done. So what would neighbors think about what's being presented? I know
there was, yeah, right, I agree. I mean, I know there was a letter from, the resident at 19 St. Mary's Court. I feel like some of his issues were parking and delivery access. I mean, the parking's been reduced from 10 or 11 spaces to 5. The delivery area has been like doubled in size. And the back of this building, where the existing bakery is 90 feet from the buildings that's on St. Mary's Court. So I don't feel and the new construction only goes a few feet further to the rear. So I feel like there's plenty of distance to not be concerned about an invasion of privacy. We're talking about 80 plus feet between
Yeah, but what does it look like? I don't
Yeah,
think.
oh, no, that's true too.
Excuse me,
What-
Blair, there is a comment. Member of the public would like to make a comment.
Yeah, I mean, this is a block. They're just built. They're just blocks. They're not showing windows or. I don't know.
Right, I agree. I am not ready to send this to
Um,
the zoning board personally.
All right.
Blair, do you want to hear the
Can we
comment?
take, yes, Sean Lynn Jones wants to make a comment. Could he speak? Hi there.
Okay, I've unmuted myself. I can't see myself. I can still just see the screen share here, but I assume you can hear me.
And see you.
We can
I'm
see you.
Sean Lynn Jones, town meeting member from Precinct 1. I live at 53 Monmouth Street, just about a block from this site. I wasn't able to attend the previous meeting of the planning board, but I did look at the minutes and some of the documentation. And I have to say, I was uneasy with the original design for reasons I couldn't really articulate. But I have to say, as a result, I assume of planning board input and the changes that the architect has made, even though this isn't quite final, I think it's a tremendous improvement and is a really good addition to the block, and getting rid of that setback, changing the roof line and improving the facade has really made this a much better design. My only question, big question would be, is red the right color for the brick, given the palette of this entire block is basically beige and yellow, whether painted or just the color of the brick. And maybe that's something that needs to be worked out. And one of my questions was whether an additional story could be added, and that has been answered. I just wanted clarification. But I have two questions that, and I also hope that, well, although he's not on this call as far as I can tell, that the changes have been discussed with Mr. Arendt, who lives on St. Mary's Court. I don't live there, but I used to park my car very close to this building, and I realized there are a lot of navigation and access issues getting in and out. And it's all along St. Mary's Court that these come up because of the, well, literally bottlenecks. But my two questions are, could the current tenant, the Japanese, remain? That's my, well, actually, my major question, apart from, is red really the right color for the brick here?
Thank
The
you.
goal is to keep the tenant, Sean.
I hope that's going to be possible. It's a much loved tenant in the neighborhood.
I understand.
Thank you. So, I think you've heard that the board is quite positive about this change. I know that I think Linda brings up a good point, and Andrea as well, about the rear facade. So what should we do here? I appreciate attorney. Sorry?
Just to throw out a suggestion, any chance, Nicole, we could get on that morning meeting because since we're just talking design?
That's
Morning
next
before this-
Wednesday.
It's been noticed for the zoning board next Thursday. So you're saying you want to be on the next Wednesday's agenda for design?
I didn't know if that's possible.
That'd
I
be
already
fine
sent the
with
agenda,
me.
but I could add it, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah,
I think
still
it's,
72 hours
if
by
we
add.
could get those, if we could get that rear, kind of blocked in design by that, I think that, I appreciate the importance of getting a decision from the board. So I would recommend, let's see it on Wednesday, next Wednesday, with the rear articulated.
Could we see that?
I'm sorry?
We'd like to make the plans public if Bob can get them by Monday, maybe
Yeah, I'll
12
get them to you as soon
latest.
as I'll be in touch with Nicole to make sure that's all possible. If not, we'll work out another date.
Yeah, and just to be clear, I'd like a clear answer. I'm not clear why the third floor isn't the same height as the second floor. It's not a height limit question, is it?
And I don't know the answer to it. Michael?
it's my general practice when I'm designing a building to graduate the heights. I can refine this.
Is that an
The
objection,
canopy.
Stephen, or just a curiosity?
Yeah, I don't like the way, Andrea picked this up, not me initially, but since she pointed it out, I think this building would be better still if the second and third floors were of similar heights and at similar scale windows.
Especially if in the future there's another floor added.
Right, good point.
Just if I know the time is short for Mr. Scanlon, but if we could see the rear elevation and also that egress stair worked out, and if a little bit more definition of the units.
Yeah, and I also thought, I mean, I was not unhappy with this gray limestone, whatever, first floor and brick above. But I think Sean Lynn Jones made a good point about the typical masonry color on this block not being red. So it might be worth thinking about.
All right, I think we can, if there's no further public comment, I think we've given the owner and the architect some feedback, and hopefully we can see a refined version of this plan on this coming Wednesday morning. Thank you.
Thank you. And just for the record, Blair, we'll notify Nicole if we can't make it by next Wednesday, and you'll have to just announce next Wednesday if we're not able to make it, what the next dates are, but we'll work with Nicole on that.
All right, thank you.
Thank you all very
Any
much.
final comment? Any final comments from the board? All right, so we'll continue. We'll look forward to next Wednesday, hopefully. I think this is the last of our agenda tonight. So, Linda, you can get some sleep.
Sounds good.
All right, everyone. Well,
Thanks,
thank you
everyone.
all, and we'll see you next Wednesday.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Sure.
Have a nice night.
Right.
Bye.